Good morning and welcome to this edition of Tank Time. And I just wanted to make a video about my latest projects. In this scene we see my 10-gallon, now free and clear of any and all cyanobacteria. I have seen a couple planaria, but they're not out of hand anymore. My latest acquisition, this cool creature here, is a banjo catfish. He's not the most active critter in the world, but he literally has not moved from that spot since I released him yesterday. And what else do we have in this tank? We have some honey gold gouramis. I have a pair of those. I managed to dig up a female, believe it or not. With honey golds, it's a lot easier to find the female of the species than it is amongst the other dwarf gouramis, which are usually only males in the stores. I have a smattering of snails to do some cleanup. They're doing a wonderful job on my Anubias. Couldn't even see that thing, and then I entered the snails and they went right to work. They know exactly where to go. This little Anubias here was completely buried under blackbeard algae and it is now completely exposed and happy as can be. My peacock gudgeons, they actually spawned once, but I don't know what the hell happened to the eggs. It's like the next day they were gone. But isn't that a pretty fish? Wow, isn't he pretty? Now these guys broke all the rules. I knew I got a male and 2 females, but the male isn't the one I expected him to be. Females have black bars on their anal fins. So does he. Females are also very rotund. Oh, where did they go? And have a yellow belly. There's one in there that has black fins, or rather, no black on her fins. She's very rotund. There she is, and she just spawned. So, at least I didn't get 2 males and a female. That would just be not a good situation. But there's the male. Tell me that's not a pretty fish. Tell me that's not a weird fish. That's a Star Trek fish. That is a Star Trek fish. It's almost like an alien spacecraft. Hello, little gourami. That's the female. You can see the dark bar that runs down her sides. The males do not have that. And of course, anyone who knows gouramis knows that 2 male gouramis equals endless fighting. And we don't like that in a tank. That is, unless they're both dwarfs and they have lots of hides, then possibly. Okay, now look at this gudgeon goby here. She's fat with eggs. But as you can see, she has no black on her anal fin. But she's a female. And so's this other one coming up behind her. Or is that the male again? That's the male again. Over in this tank, the pea puffers are pea puffing along. There's one that likes to hang out right under the heater. There he is. I added a Marimo moss ball yet last night because I saw a video of 3 puffers in a tank spawning on a Marimo moss ball. So I remembered that I have one out of quarantine in a brackish tank, and I ran and I got it. I rinsed it off because it was it was kind of dirty, and I plopped it in there, and they haven't taken notice yet, but the day is young. There we go. He's checking out something. They had their bloodworms this morning. The cryptocorans are looking a lot better. They were all kind of messed up when I separated them and planted them. They didn't know which way was up yet. The Kabamba is doing marvelous, surprisingly well. I guess the secret is gravel, sand, and lots of fish waste. These old crips. There's my Anubias. It's another Cryptocoran Wentii. There's another pea piffer. There's the other 2, actually. There's the other male and the female. The store I bought these from inadvertently sent me 2 males and a female. Of course, they were like lentil puffers back then. I guess it was harder to sex them when they were little. But they're all getting along. He's got his heater hangout, and he hangs out with her around the Kabamba. And there's no sparks at all. Meanwhile, this will be my next project. I need to get in here and do a little scratchy on the glass with the razor blade and get rid of a lot of that green algae. Yep, there's a planarian. I don't know if you can see it or even if it's in my camera. There he is. I don't like those things. I miss my water lily. She's asleep for the winter. So as soon as I get a penthouse and those little honeygolds come out of quarantine, I'll pop them in here, along with that banjo cat. They'll love it in here. There's a ghost shrimp, being ever so elegant. And over here, we have these little big guys. Now, these little guys are about 1/2 inch long now. Them always are. Guppies are about a centimeter. I had their bloodworms this morning. It's amazing something so small can choke down something so big. I got like these extra large bloodworms that I actually have to chop in order for the smaller fish to be able to handle. And some more guppies over here. Huge amount of guppy grass. No shortage of that whatsoever. This will be a project for down the road. I'm thinking Sagittarius subulata, dragonwood, a little guppy grass, and 3 or 4 bumblebee gobies. That's in the future, though. And finally, okay, now I'll have to talk with my golf voice. As you can see, everybody's doing well in the 55-gallon brackish tank. I've discovered that it's a little too salty in here for most guppies and swordtails. But whatever survived is doing fine. There's a nice swordtail. Yesterday I found a great deal on Sagittarius subulata, which does quite well in brackish settings if you don't get too salty. I'm at 1.006 specific gravity, and I got 4 bunches at $6 a pop. And each bunch contained about 4 to 5 plants. So I separated them and planted them in little groves. I made one long continual little forest. Guppy grass is ballooning. And I put more subulata over here. Everybody looks hungry. So, this is the fun part. Everybody gets bloodworms. Big night goby is front and center. Oh, the puffer hasn't made his way out yet. There he is. He's still hunting ghost shrimp. He's gonna lose out. All these fish are eating all the bloodworms. And he's got one. Get him, boy. Well, that about concludes this episode of Tank Time. I'll leave you on a night goby note. I don't know, see you next time.